started my day this morning at a forest near Stirling. It was super quiet, had a great sleep. My goal this morning was to get to Stirling Castle before it got super busy. It opened at 9:30. I managed to get there by just before 10. Again, just like at Edinburgh Castle, I didn't have to line up for tickets. I just showed the barcode on my membership card and went straight in. There wasn't a huge line here for tickets, so that wouldn't have mattered, but it still probably saved me a good 10 minutes or so. And that allowed me to catch the very first guided tour, which started at 10. I never managed to catch a guided tour at any of the other places. I never really tried, but this time the timing just worked out that way. And it was nice. I'm a bit, I don't want to say sick of, but I've done a lot of audio guides. I've done a lot of just, wandering myself and reading plaques and whatnot. It's nice to hear it from somebody who can just point out the interesting things and tell interesting stories along the way. And they do it in a Scottish accent and, it's enjoyable. That took about an hour. And of course, you don't go everywhere on the guided tour. So then I knew, a few other places I wanted to make sure to check out on my own afterwards. It didn't get crazy busy. It was certainly a popular attraction. There were people there, but it wasn't the wall-to-wall people and the lineups of people and the crowds of people that was at Edinburgh Castle yesterday. So if you wanted to stop and read something, you could, and you didn't feel pressured and pushed along or claustrophobic or just annoyed. Like, I just could not take it yesterday. But this was nice. And it was a very interesting castle. They had people dressed up in period costumes, kind of in character and in different rooms and stuff, which was interesting and did really add to the feel of the history. Beautiful, beautiful castle. Really well done restorations and whatnot. So you really got a feel for it. And I mean, I've seen so many castles now, and all of them are really different from one another. So I'm not bored of them yet. And I have one more castle I'm going to go to tomorrow. At least one more. One more I'm planning on, and then who knows, so I might end up at another one. It's the benefit of having a Historic Scotland membership. You can just decide to go to castles. After I got done at the castle, I parked my car at what they call the Thistles Shopping Center. It's essentially a mall, but it is right downtown Stirling, and the mall itself kind of spills out into the downtown, which is kind of unique. Usually malls are kind of a suburbs thing, and downtowns are kind of competing with malls. this worked very well together, and especially in somewhere like Scotland where it can rain. Today, luckily, it was a beautiful, beautiful day. Got up to about 23 degrees. But I don't know, 23 degrees here feels hotter than 23 degrees at home for some reason. Like, I was roasting today. It doesn't help that my vehicle does not have air conditioning. That might have something to do with it. Anyways, it was a very enjoyable day. Walking around the streets of Stirling, again, people around, but not the hordes of people. And it wasn't as touristy. There were certainly shops that were full of touristy stuff and souvenirs and whatnot, but that wasn't all there was. There's a good mix of other stuff, and I managed to find my souvenir for the trip, finally. Been looking this whole time. And I was just in a gift shop, and there's this local artist that makes these interesting pieces of art, I guess, out of reclaimed timber. And so I got a small piece because I have to take it back in my suitcase, of course. But I always look when I'm traveling for something I can use and something I will keep, but something that's not something that anyone else would recognize as a souvenir. I finally found pizza that was delicious. This tiny little hole in the wall. The guy looked Italian, and there was no microwave involved in cooking this pizza. It was phenomenal. Something I would actually eat again. And cheap. So that was great. And then once my feet were so sore that I could not walk anymore, I quickly went to the grocery store to get a couple of things. And then I tried to wander and find a place to stay tonight. I checked out one place, actually two places on the map that I have, and both of them were not suitable, or not places I was really wanting to stay at. So then, as I was wandering to one of them, I saw a sign for a nature reserve. And so when I got to the destination and decided I didn't like it, I pulled out Google and just Googled nature reserves nearby. And then this one that I'm now at popped up. It is in the middle of a bunch of farmers' fields, but it's a bog. There's a lovely parking lot that's nice and flat and big, and not much else. A couple of picnic tables. I've been here now for a few hours, and I've seen one other family who quickly came, took a few pictures, and then left. But other than that, it's just been me and the birds and the peace and quiet, and it is super lovely. There's some cows in the field over that way somewhere, and I was lying there just enjoying the peace and quiet, and I hadn't noticed there were any cows nearby, and then one of them sneezed really loudly and scared me so bad because I didn't hear him coming, and I thought it was a human sneeze, but then I look over and it's just the cows. So those are my neighbors tonight. Anyways, right now I'm up on the observation tower, and you probably won't be able to see it right now. It'll probably just blind you, but the sun's starting to set, so that'll probably be really beautiful. So I've got my GoPro over there doing a time lapse, and hopefully that turns out. But I'm just enjoying being by my lonesome in the middle of nowhere. So the plan tomorrow is to go to Stirling Castle, and then I have 2 more nights with the campervan. So hopefully find somewhere where I can stay 2 nights in a row. That's nice and peaceful. I might go back to Loch Lomond area, or at least somewhere in that national park, or if this place stays quiet, I might even stick around here. But I've just got to do some tidying up of the van and some packing, and don't really want to think about that yet, but it's that time. So that's it for today's adventures. So I have not moved since yesterday. This is only the second time this whole trip that I've stayed somewhere 2 nights in a row. And I kind of just felt like I wanted to relax, and I spent most of the day reading and eating, trying to make use of the food I have so I don't have to throw it all out, and just enjoying the sunshine. It was one of the warmest days of the whole trip today. So I had like the back door wide open and the breeze was coming through. People came by walking their llamas. Not joking. And then around dinner time, this lovely couple came to the picnic tables to barbecue their dinner and were making all kinds of comments about the van. I don't think people realize that I can hear every word they're saying when they're standing right outside the van talking about the van. So anyways, I just popped open the side door and said, hey, do you want to have a look inside? They were lovely, and they're just from a little town up the road called Callender. We must have stolen that name as well. Anyways, they make jams and preserves for a living, so they gave me one, which is super nice of them. And we had a really good chat, and they even offered to let me join in their dinner with them, but I declined. Anyways, they were lovely, and that was super nice and just typical of the kindness that Scottish people have had this whole trip. Anyways, tomorrow is my last full day with the van, so that means I have a very full day ahead of me. I still don't know where I'm going to end up tomorrow night. I'm hoping on a campsite, if I can find one that has a spot for me. Some of the campsites around here have a 2-night minimum, which might be a problem. I might just end up paying an arm and a leg for a campsite. It costs way too much money to stay in a campsite sometimes, but I'm going to have to do it tomorrow. Got to pack everything up. I've kind of like, my stuff has exploded all over the van, and I've got to get it to fit back into my luggage so I can move to the hotel I'll stay in for a few days. Well, 2 nights actually. So yeah, this whole thing's coming to an end very quickly, but trying to enjoy the last bits of it and squeeze in a few more adventures before it's all said and done. So anyways, that is it for today. A whole lot of nothing, but it was great.